Hello.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Demonplague. I am James Intricasso. I go by he, him. I am your magical dungeon master for this experience. And we will run around the table and introduce our players very quickly. Let us know who you are and who you're playing. And why don't we start with you, Rudy Basso?
Hey, I'm Rudy Basso, also he, him. I am playing Rain Bowie, a human monk who's got a bit of a crush on one of the town council women. But she has rebuked his advances as of late. Although things are going all right. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out today.
A little bit of an emotional roller coaster for old Rain.
Up and down. Thank you. Thank you to Josh Long for causing such a roller coaster by giving James an auto failure. So thanks, Josh, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Josh Long. We will get to how you can purchase me an auto fail in a moment. But before we do that, TK, who are you and who are you playing?
Sorry, I lost my cat. I'm TK, they, them. My cat is missing. I don't know where he went, but I am playing. That's why I was like looking around because my husband poked into the office and was like, "Have you seen the cat?" And I was like, I don't know. Oh, he found him. Okay. All right.
Oh, thank God. Another roller coaster.
Crisis averted. I'm playing Isabella Halfback. She is a half-orc fighter, former guard, and now she is working as a matchmaker and campaign manager in Torm's Crossing. Or, no, not Torm. Is it Torm? Tomar's Crossing. Why did I say Torm? It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's all for me. Bye.
And speaking of campaigns, Robert Aducci, who are you and who are you playing?
I am Robert Aducci. I'm playing Torsten Alehand, who is running for some government office here in the campaign. And I voted today. I don't know about you guys, but I voted. Hopefully everybody else did. And if you didn't, go vote after this show.
Yes, we should say that there will probably be some more election chatter in this episode. This was not planned. That is election day in the States, and we would have an episode dealing with some town politics. So all of the usual caveats that you see in front of a Metal Gear Solid game go here. Any, relation to another politician or whatever is just coincidence. Or is it? I don't know. But Lauren, why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing?
I'm Lauren Urban. I go by Obo Crazy, she, her. I'm playing as Rock, the Aarakocra Rogue, who at this moment cannot vote in this election because she is not a local to the town, which is, being an outsider, one would say an immigrant, is not at all relevant in these times. I also did vote. I am lucky enough to live in a state in these great United States that votes by mail. So I voted a couple of weeks ago. I don't have a sticker. I just have more time on my hands. Yay.
Yes, and if you are in the U.S. and you are an eligible voter and you are watching this right now and you haven't voted yet, you have all of our permission to go vote. And catch up on the podcast or the YouTube version, which all are in existence and pretty incredible. Thank you to Rudy for curating that. If you love the show, go ahead and follow us here on Twitch or subscribe to the podcast. Now, before we get rolling, I just want to point above my head. You can give us some donations to buy the PCs some healing potions or to get an auto success or fail for the PC or DM of your choice, of course. And if you donate 500 bits, you can have an NPC named after you, like Grant Ellington or Ilaria Walrus. So get excited for that. And whenever we roll a natural 20, we give away a free PDF on this show. Now, last time, our heroes returned victorious to Tomar's Crossing after saving more than 24 people who had been captured on the road and capturing the nefarious bandit, Grant Ellington. On your way back into town, Hubert Greyborn, who is the leader of the Ice Song refugees, asked about refugees getting voting rights for the upcoming town council election. Tomar's Crossing, a town previously of about 150 people, has swelled in size as a comet striking the valley where it was, wiped away every other settlement. So everyone who was displaced by that has come to Tomar's Crossing, and now just the people who lived there beforehand can vote, not all of the newcomers. Now, after spending some time resting, Torsten held a town hall where all of you addressed the villagers as a group. You were answering questions. It all ended with Torsten getting paraded around on the shoulders of the townspeople, chanting his name and them demanding he run for the village council. This upset Bajalan Viadis, the current leader of the village council, the village master. He was unhappy and was worried maybe about his own chances in this upcoming election and left after paying you. However, Rock and Rain followed the village master, noticing that he wasn't headed in the direction of his house, and they saw him go into Feridus Traders, a general store owned by Melete and Navita Feridus. And when Bajalan went in there, he started to embrace Navita, with Melete there looking on. What's going on there? Nobody knows for sure. So that is where we left things. I want to check in very quickly with Rock and Rain. At that moment, do either of you want to do anything when you see this go down?
So he goes in and the door closes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get out my camera phone and I take a picture.
What would Rock do? That's an interesting question. Like,
I know what Rain would do, which is stop Rock from being loud and making any noise. So
That's
don't
which
think
is
too
kind
hard.
of predictable.
Yes.
well, so you were sneaking along on the ground. She was like dodging rooftop kind of things. And it's interesting because I don't know if Rock would know enough about human culture to know that that's weird.
Sure.
So
That's fair.
I think
if you want to make a history check, Rock, to see what you know, we could do that.
Sure. Let's see how badly she does at this. Oh, well, I rolled a 19, so that actually gets me a 20.
Yeah, you're aware this is weird. This would, and not necessarily like a bad thing, but it's probably considered taboo and perhaps a little salacious, whatever is going on. But it doesn't necessarily mean that, while some people, might look upon it as bad, it's not necessarily like, they don't appear to be hurting anyone.
Okay.
Is Bajalan, is he like well known as a family man, and kind of like, is this particularly salacious for him?
So he, as far as you know, doesn't have any romantic attachments.
I remember Isabel was saying he got all mad when you pushed him on
he's
that.
famously single.
Yes,
But,
he's famously single. So
sort of a single stoic eschews relationships type.
Yeah, and as far as you know, it's always been that way. It's not like he has children from a previous relationship or anything like that. Anything about his romantic past is kind of a mystery to everyone in Tomar's Crossing.
Okay. Do Rock and Rain see each other?
Yeah. I assumed you two were sort of
I'm
traveling
like frantically waving and covering my mouth and trying to.
Well, Rock's not like, she knows in this case that she wants to be quiet. Like, the problem isn't that she doesn't keep quiet. The problem is she often doesn't think it's necessary. But in this case, I think she does. She'll fly on down from the perch that she's on and land next to him, and say, "Rain, so what now?"
I don't know. Like, I don't like this guy, but this isn't evil or anything. So the husband didn't seem to mind. So it's kind of like lame to bring up personal life in an election. Apparently he does it, but I don't want to stoop to his level. I'd rather just punch him.
Do you want to go on in and punch him now?
Well, Listen, I'm never gonna say no to punching someone, but I think the right time and the right place is something you have to keep in mind.
This is true, but I didn't know if this was worth a punching. It seems like not something that you normally do.
Her husband was watching, so he might be okay. Everybody might be cool with this. In which
It
case,
certainly seemed that way.
Yeah, there's no reason to punch.
Okay. Well, I don't feel like spying on them if they are going to do private things.
Can I roll an insight check now on the husband to see maybe his eye twitches a little bit, as in like he doesn't really like this?
Yeah. So you're replaying the
Exactly.
image in your mind.
I'm thinking, was there anything I missed? I rolled on 11.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed fine. It seemed almost like he was, like he had sort of no attachment to either of them that was particularly strong.
Maybe we should go talk to Isabel and find out if she knows anything about this couple. Maybe this is like normal. Maybe this is.
Maybe they swing, baby. All right.
They have did I see a swing in the back? Rock will look behind. Like, have a swing set? That's a thing.
No, there is no swing in the back.
Well, we should. I don't know if this is something that is important, but at least we know where he is if he's going to cause trouble.
Very true.
Yeah. So you are able to sort of make your way back to the party where people are still praising Torsten, and you run into Isabel, who I assume probably is walking arm in arm with Somath Skullcleaver at this moment.
If that's happening, right. Rock would not approach. Rock would see the two of them, and Rock, I think, knows that they're going off to her house. I think I remember they were.
Yeah, Isabel.
Well, that's up to Isabel. Yeah,
Isabel's going for a fitting at her house, and dang, how long have Rock and Isabel been rooming together now?
Well, I think it was only the one night. I think Rock has been normally hanging out in the tent, and then the night before we left Tomar's Crossing, we said come and stay. Rock would see that and would be like, "Oh, they're going to go do private things. We should go somewhere else." And she'll turn around and.
True. This is a very PG podcast in that regard. So it's like.
Rock
honestly,
might be a very PG bird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Isabel like gets like a tingly sense in the back of her head and like glances over the shoulder and is like,
yeah, I'm gonna say with Rock's insight, she knows. She knows what's going on, or at least what might be going on, and she'll look at Rain and say, "Well, she's busy. Everybody's having like private time tonight. Should we go find private time? Is this like a thing that happens before elections? We all go find people to be with."
Yeah, you go reflect, self-reflect
with other people though, like
group reflect. Yeah.
Is Isabel
goes from self to group.
Rock is now super confused. Are we supposed to join Isabel? Is this
from single partner to party of 15?
Like not where I thought this was going to go. Torsten, at that moment, you notice your friends are back. You had noticed that Rain and Rock had gone, and you see now they are back. And sort of the crowd, while there were certainly people asking you questions and that sort of thing, they've kind of dispersed, and now they're more talking to each other about you rather than talking to you about you.
All right. I will go. I guess I'll go over to see Rain and Rock, and just say, well, that was quite unexpected.
It's been a day full of unexpected things. Is it a good thing, though? Do you want to run for the office?
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, if that's what people want, I think the town needs something. I'm kind of sick of Bajalen myself, so yeah.
Well,
I've got some tasty goss regarding Bajalen.
Oh yeah.
You may be sick of him, but Melita Nevita are not sick of him. They are very happy with him.
Y'all literally for 5 seconds cannot. You were just like, who's the first person?
Yeah.
Oh, she's busy. Let's talk to someone else then.
She was gonna go talk to Isabel, and when that
Yeah.
couldn't happen, Torsten appeared.
Surprised y'all were
I see.
like live tweeting the walk back.
Oh, I tried
I
to.
think I think that's
Yeah, you did
exactly what the Aarakocra is doing right now.
So do you dish the
Right.
goss then
Inspiration for that.
with Torsten? Oh yeah, definitely inspiration.
Inspiration.
Hey, for
Hey.
bird puns, I'll take.
What was that, James?
Do you so do Rain and Rock dish the goss then
Absolutely.
with Torsten? Okay, so Torsten, they share
100%.
with you what
Ah.
what they saw, and now you have that information as well.
All right. Yeah, I have no. I mean, have I ever heard of it? Like, what do I know about those people?
So you know that they are the general store traders. They're very private. Melite is an older guy, and Navita is his wife. She's about the same age. They're, both probably in like their 40s, I would say. But Jalen's like in his 60s. And they are, they're fair. Like their prices are fair and everything. You know that they've been having kind of a harder time recently because while there are a lot of people coming into Tomar's Crossing, there aren't that many people who are buying general store type goods, right? There aren't that many people in the market for like grappling hooks and rope these days. They're trying to buy food and water mostly. So
Gotcha.
they're like every other business in Tomar's Crossing, they're hurting a little bit. But as far as you know, they seem fine. Sometimes when people are in there in the store, they hear them bicker, but like it's never anything more than a couple who has been married for a decade or more would get into.
Gotcha. All right. Well, interesting, but I don't know if there's anything to do with that. But so I mean, we've been we've been traveling for I don't know, seems like a week or something, maybe longer.
Yeah,
I think I'm probably ready to sleep in my own bed and go hang out with my family a bit.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Is everybody going back to their respective chambers to sleep?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So you all go to bed, have the benefit of a long rest.
Rock will go back to the tent, just to be clear. She will not
Gotcha.
actually.
Hmm.
She'll do a little bit
Probably for the
of
best.
she'll do a little bit of insighting and realize that no, wait, not everybody is going off in pairs. That was a misunderstanding, and she will go back to the tent.
Some people are going off in threes. It's
Exactly. And there was that moment, but she'll figure it out and go back to the tent. And I'm sure she's got like a perch up there. There were a lot of people sleeping in that big tent, but she's got her own perch, and she'll take.
That's really sweet.
That will be so the night will pass. Rock, you're sleeping on your perch, and everybody gets a good night's sleep. Things are good.
Yay, long rest. I get hit points again. Okay.
In the morning, Torsten, you wake up and already staying at the or in the tavern, like having breakfast when you come down, you notice there is Hubert Greyborn is there with a dwarf and two humans, and they are talking to each other. And when you come down, Hubert beckons you to come over to the table.
Okay.
And he introduces you to the three individuals. One of the humans who is actually, they look disheveled, like they've been through hell trying to get here, but their clothes are of a finer make. You can tell even through the dirt and grime. And they seem to have like, their hair is unkempt, but it's on a base of something that was kempt previously, as opposed to some people who just have wild and crazy hair like James Intricasso. So there, he introduces this individual, this finely dressed individual, as Katika LeBlorn, and then introduces Nibbin Blondebeard. So Nibbin Blondebeard is the dwarf, and Nibbin has a blonde beard, true to form, and is dressed in plain clothes, not in like big dwarvish armor with axes or anything like that, just sort of mud-stained common clothes. And then Jespa Clocker is the other human, and she is dressed also like a farmer. She's got some muddy overalls on, and she's wearing, long-sleeved shirt under that. And they all introduce themselves as Cataclysm LeBlorn introduces himself as a leader from Safe Harbor, which is the big city that was destroyed when the comet struck. He's a nobleman and says that he represents the peoples of Safe Harbor. Nib and Blondebeard comes from a small village called Helmet that was washed away. And Jespa comes from Sweetwater, which is another village that was washed away. And Huberg, as we know, is from Isong. And Huberg invites you to sit down and says, listen, we heard about your little announcement last night, and we wanted to offer our support. If you were, we've offered this to other candidates, but so far no one has taken us up. If you were to secure voting rights for us, we would see to it that we would endorse you and let all of our people know that you're the reason they can vote in this upcoming election. Not exactly sure how you'd go about doing that. You'd need to convince the current town council to make it happen.
Yeah. On a kind of outside the conversation, did I ever hear from, did Rain ever tell us what one of the council members had told them that they were basically being blackmailed?
Yeah, I would have shared that, definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
So I will say, that's something I can definitely talk to the current council members are. I don't know if they're going to be willing to change such a thing like before the election, but it's something that we could definitely work toward. And if we can convince them before them, that'd be great. But like I said, I'm not sure if that's something we do right now. Hopefully it is, and I'll definitely work towards that.
Mm-hmm. So they nod and they say, well, it could be hard to win without our support. We represent so many, we would see to it that you were put in by a landslide. So it's just something to keep in mind there.
Definitely. And I definitely think you guys should have voting rights once, since there's nowhere really else to live and it sounds like everyone's going to be staying here. You guys should have a say in what's going on.
And that's when the nobleman sort of slides up next to you on the bench that you're sitting. And he says, as you know, the LeBlorn family has a storied history here. We're one of the most famous noble families in all of Safe Harbor, save for the Ellingtons, and I'm afraid their reputation is now ruined thanks to that grant.
Thanks to Grant, right.
Yeah. And he says, I wouldn't like to just see voting rights secured for our friends who have been displaced, but of course, the ability to run ourselves. That is, we could run together, as it were. There are 4 positions that will be open on the village council. You would need, maybe if we ran as a team, we could get some more votes going there. I could get my people to vote for me, and if we're running together, a joint ticket, if you will, perhaps a political alliance, a political party of sorts, we could run together and we could truly change the face of Tomar's Crossing, make it something to be proud of as the final settlement here in the Luna Valley. Don't you agree?
I said that's definitely something to think about. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, there's so many people just with nothing to do, and there's shelter to be built and fields to try to plant again and that sort of thing. We should be getting people back to work, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
I agree.
Especially with all the people need food. We brought some food back, but that's not going to last for long.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. We need to feed the masses and feed their souls too with work.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a hard day's work for folk of lesser stature, if you know what I mean. Well, of course you do. You're here in this fine tavern. And he pats you on the back.
Nice. I just kind of nod, and at this point, kind of Torsten is sort of, while he's listening to all this, he's like, "Uh-oh, I don't want to do all this stuff." So he says, one of the things that we ran into was that there were more prisoners, or the prisoners were taking to the elf harrow. What was it called again?
Oh, the Star Elf Barrows.
Star Elf Barrows, yeah. And maybe if we could go there, we can get some more, even more people to help us with this. Do you guys know anything about? Have you guys heard of that place?
They all look at each other and shake their heads, and there is Jespa, a look of recognition, and she says, my grandfather used to tell me stories of structures buried under the ice. He fancied himself a part-time adventurer and would jump down holes and things that were in the glacier, and he mentioned that there was a civilization of elves buried deep under the ice that he would come across artifacts from sometimes. Maybe this is the same sort of thing. Very ancient, thousands of years old.
Well, apparently something's been unearthed, and that's where some of these prisoners are being taken by this necromancer.
They nod. Rain. In the morning, you wake up to a knock at your door.
Okay, I answer it.
And Kadra Tourmaline is standing.
Okay.
And she pushes by you right into your residence and asks you to shut the door.
Okay.
And she is shaken. And she says, she's here. You have to help me, Rain. You have to help me. And she grabs your hands very tightly, and you can feel that she's cold and she looks very pale.
Who is here?
Mara. I think Mara is here.
Do I know who Mara is?
You don't. You've never heard of Mara.
Who is Mara?
And she says, "Have a seat, Rain."
All right. This is my house, but I will sit down. I am choosing to sit down.
And she sits too, and says, "I am going to tell you something, and I need you to swear to not tell anyone else."
Okay.
Unless they can help us with this situation.
Okay.
And she says, "You know that I'm fairly new to Tomar's Crossing. I came here only a few years ago. And you know that I have the blood of dragons in my veins, as I have told you."
I didn't know until very recently when you told me, but yes, now I know.
And she says, "Yes, I'm very sorry about that. But the problem is, I had a mentor." And she picks up a fork that you have out on your table. And
I was going to put that away. Sometimes I just leave stuff out. It's clean. It's just...
and she holds up a hand to make you, shut you up for a second. Hey, it's fine. She's not really that concerned with the fact that you had a fork out. And she makes it start to glow, this bright white light. And she says, "Rain, I can do magic. I'm a sorceress, and I learned how to harness my power from a woman named Mara Silver. My name isn't Kadra Tourmaline. It's Meriath. And I used to be... so Kadra has brown eyes, and she says, "My eyes, they used to be blue. I've changed those by drinking a potion. It's because something happened Mariath went. Mara went crazy. And she tried. Well, she had many pupils. And I am the last living one. She studied dragons. She wanted to be closer to dragons, to understand how a dragon sorcerer's powers worked, how the blood of the dragons gave us the ability to do great things. One of these dragons broke her mind. Mara tried to share a psychic connection with them. And now she is broken. And she became convinced that the way to fully unlock her powers and become a dragon herself was to kill and drink the blood of her pupils and any other dragon sorcerer she came across.
Whoa. That's bad. Is being a sorcerer, like, are they ostracized from communities or something or anything like that? Or was she just...
not. I mean,
right. The way she
unless
said it made me think it was like, oh, a sort... Well, no one can do magic except for my friend Torsten, and...
So, no, it's not like that. However, it's not a thing that she does a ton of.
Okay.
So it's not a thing that you would know about her in particular. So that's why it's more of a. It felt like more of a reveal.
Where is Mara?
I think she's here.
You think she's here now?
Well, not here, but here in Tomar's Crossing.
Yeah.
There is a girl who I saw today in the streets, and she went by the name Ellie Mirkar. She doesn't look anything like Mara, but there is something about her that makes me think that it's her, that I am being followed, that I am being watched. She kept following me through the streets, looked like a waif. It took me a long time to get her away, and then I saw her lurking outside my house. Anyway, there's something weird going on with this girl. I would be grateful if maybe you could talk to her.
Wait, you think the girl is Mara? Sorry, just...
I do.
Okay, and you want me to talk to her, and she's a powerful sorcerer who kills people and drinks their blood.
Yes, but you saved all those people.
I did save all those people.
You're powerful yourself.
I am. Well, I mean, you're saying things that are very true, obviously, but okay. Why are you afraid of Bajalin? We're dropping truth bombs left and right. Let's throw out another one here.
Bajalin knows about my past.
And that has so frightened you that you're afraid that Mara will hear about it and come here?
He said that if I did not vote with him on all council matters, this was after I was elected, of course, that he would make sure word got out. I'm already at the edge of the world. Where would I go from here?
Okay. All right, fine. I'll help you, but you have to help us. You have to endorse Torsten as a fellow council member. You have to actively oppose Bajalin, and you have to start a new vote to give the townspeople or the outsiders writing votes within the council.
But what if this isn't Mara? Then he'll use it against me, and then she will come here.
Well, that's something to think about, but...
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. All right. She's nice, and I like her, but my loyalties lie with... if you were here, Isabel, Rain would think of that, but...
Throw in dinner.
I'm thinking about 13, about Torsten and my friends, and winning him, and the people who don't have voting rights. Like, her little saga is sad, but I think it's more important that they have a say in how their lives go.
Gosh. Pick her up for a happy
a
meal.
13. I rolled
A 13.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to that in a second. But, Isabel,
Yes.
there is a knock on your door that you wake up to.
Does she wake up alone?
Oh.
She does wake up alone. Look, nobody's sleeping over. I like my space.
Yes.
Can I pretend that I'm still asleep?
Sure.
How
You wanna-
insistent is the knock?
There's probably like a light knock, and then maybe 30 seconds later, there's like a louder knock.
Is this like a timid son has come to see his mother knock, or is this like a town guard's knock, or is this Rock tired of sleeping in a tent knock?
I would say this is somewhere in between. This is like a door-to-door salesman type knock. Very insistent.
Isabel's gonna peek out the window.
When you peek out the window, you see a waifish girl, looks to be about 16, very thin, in dirty, muddy clothes, knocking on the door. And she calls in and says, excuse me, Ms. Halfback?
Oh no. I don't have any silver for cookies. Isabel will like wrap her fluffy robe around her, and like she's got like curlers and everything and like a face mask. And she like cracks the door open. She's hello.
I'm so sorry to disturb you. I thought you might be up by now, but I guess anyway, I'm looking for Mr. Rain Bowie, and I know that recently you two have worked together. I thought maybe you were friends. He's friends with a friend of mine who I'm looking for. I'm wondering if you could tell me where he lives.
I want to roll insight because it occurs to Isabel that she should probably be looking for this friend, like asking after this friend as opposed to asking after Rain. So this girl has already done too much investigation into somebody who shouldn't be related to this incident at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to roll an investigation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, you said she's like muddy, dirty, and wayfish. Is she like refugee muddy, dirty, and wayfish, or like?
Yes.
Okay.
Like refugee.
That's a on the thigh, and oh, it's cool. I'll wait on you, phone. I'm not doing anything important. Jeez Louise. Oh, I don't get anything for insight. So 16.
So there, she seems more desperate than she is letting on for this information. And
do I have a sense of that type? What type of desperation? Like desperate to know because she's in trouble, or desperate to know because like time's running out, or like what is it? Fear? That's what I'm asking. Is it fear driven?
So for a skinny person, there seems to be a surprising lack of fear. Especially for like you're sort of small, but this is a 16-year-old girl who looks like they haven't had a meal in a week.
Yeah.
And you are a known accomplished warrior in town. So, and there seems to be no fear whatsoever. And you also get this feeling that they think less of you. Than like that you are a lesser being than they are.
Fine, I own a house, so I'm already one up on the scale, kid.
That is some serious shade.
I mean, I can afford it. I have a roof. So anyway, Isabel will think on that, and then she'll say, all I know about Rain is that he works at that tavern.
And she says, "Oh, okay, thank you. That's
Which
very
anyone
helpful."
would know.
Well, I'm new in town. I just got here. My name is Ellie Mirkar.
Oh, what a nice name.
Thank you. It's
Where are you from?
Oh, I am from Safe Harbor. I was part of the refugees that just recently came in. A whole bunch of us came this morning. We were sort of backtracked because there was a mudslide in our way, and so we
Oh
had to
my
find a
goodness.
different route to town.
Oh, that sounds simply awful. So you got to see Harlem Graybeard, didn't you? You got to meet up with him?
Yes, Huberg,
Oh.
what was his last name? Yes.
I just said it for you, so it shouldn't be super.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. So if you just want to go to the tavern, let Torsten know that I sent you, and I'm sure he'll get you a little snack to fill that belly. You could just wait for Rain there.
And she says, "Oh, thank you. That would be very, very kind of you to do
I'm an
that."
incredibly kind person, so
Go ahead at this moment. Rock. Why are you coming back to the apartment at this moment?
Back to Isabel?
Back to Isabel.
Oh, okay. Well, so Rock woke up this morning with a list of things to do. Rock meant to go find Palmine because Palmine needs to know that there is a cage full of undead rats in Fort Kickass that she needs to go check out. Rock wants to find out more about Star Elf Barrows. Rock also wants to go get Gorf the rug fixed, and was gonna go buy. They had met someone, one of the former prisoners, who was a seamstress, who said that if she had the right materials, she could pull out the symbol that we don't like on Gorf and get at least a new symbol on Gorf. And so Rock was gonna go try to buy those supplies to give to, I don't remember her name and I can't find it in my notes, the refugee, so that she could fix Gorf. And she also wanted to help along any of the refugees that were going to go live at Fort Kickass because she thinks that's a great idea and she's excited to share her new roost with people. So that's why she'd be wandering into town.
That's a good point. Who does Gorf go with? Who takes Gorf in? Gorf, the dwarf rug.
Gorf will clash with my furniture. Absolutely not.
Gorf is always welcome with me, but
given the preference, Gorf would love to go with Rain.
Right.
Fine.
Gorf is his roommate now.
Fine.
So Rock would have waved and been like, "Okay, Gorf, I will find out where to go tomorrow." And yeah, Rock would be off alone doing all that fun stuff. So in honesty, I don't know if she would be heading to, because she probably
that's great. I think I know exactly where you would buy a bunch of tools for a person who could fix a rug, and that would be at the general store.
Excellent. Oh, good. I'm glad you know because I do not. So I will head off in that direction and try to do all of that.
Okay, so Ellie thanks you, Isabel, and starts heading off towards Torsten's tavern. And
sorry, I would have loved to come on by and helped with Small Waif Child, but Rock had no reason. In fact, Rock was probably going to avoid your house because Rock thinks that you were.
Yeah, that's for the best.
That's true. That's true.
Isabel's Isabel is a grandmother, but half-orcs only live to 60 or 70. She's 45, so she's really a hit it and quit it type.
Oh my God.
She's not looking for love.
But I don't think
and
Rock
yet, ironically, helps others find love.
Oh.
So
No.
There you go.
There's an independent film, Half-Orc Matchmaker.
She's got a whole Hallmark series.
Yes, there you go. That will be a. We don't have a Patreon, but if you could have an Isabel sets you up with someone with another patron, stretch goal. Or
We
I-
totally need that Hallmark Channel picturesque, like the movie poster version of
That's right.
it's a beautiful, it's a wonderful life, except with Isabel trying to set people up. Someone draw that, please.
It's like Hitch, but with fantasy creatures.
So Isabel, this young woman leaves. What are you going back to bed? What's your plan here?
Sorry, I have to write the notes out by hand now.
No.
Isabel will go ahead and get dressed and everything. There's mysteries afoot, and she's got some busybodying to do. So
Excellent.
she'll start with that. She doesn't know anything about the general store, so she's not going to bother going in that direction.
I know.
She's going to avoid Somoth's stall for the next 3 or 4 days, just to keep him on his toes.
Sure.
She doesn't want him thinking she likes him too much. So she's not going to go to the tavern because that'll just make Ellie nervous.
Mhm.
So what she's going to do is she's probably going to go see her son and daughter-in-law.
Excellent. Okay, so Rock, let's go with you.
Oh,
so
hi.
Rock, you go into the general store, and when you walk in, Navita is there at the counter, and she says, "Oh, it's one of the incredible heroes of Fort Frostfell. Welcome, come in."
Oh, hi.
And she invites you in.
Excellent. And Navita, you mean like Navita, the one hanging out with Bajalin last night, Navita?
Yep, that
Do
same
I-
Navita.
Do I know her from anything else?
You may have been in, as an adventurer, you may have been one of the only people who like came in this store once or twice before, even if it was just to browse.
Okay.
Or you might have come with one of the other people to buy supplies or that sort of thing. So
Okay.
So yeah, we'll say that you have a customer and vendor relationship at the moment.
Sure. Navita, good. I need a few things so that I can help out the Gorf. I'm looking for all the stuff that anyone would need to be able to rip out bad things out of a rug.
Oh, who is Gorf? Is he the guy who keeps taking off his shirt? Is his name Gorf?
No, that's his friend. Gorf is the rug.
Gorf is the rug. I'm sorry, I wasn't at your party last night. Did you have a rug that you named?
Oh yes, it's a flying rug, right?
No, it's a
Because it's a
an animated rug. Yes.
Slithering, waddling rug.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
It is a animated rug, and we have named it Gorf, and he seems happy with it. But it's got a really nasty symbol on it, and we want to take it off because it's like if you're wearing the really nasty clothes.
Sure. And she sort of smiles and shakes her head as if like she doesn't really know what to do with Rock other than enjoy how enthusiastic Rock is about everything. And
Rock is used to this.
She takes you over to a section at the back of the shop where there are tools along the walls, and she says, well, we have tools that I think would be great. Do you know, is the rug, and she asks you some questions about kind of the weave of the rug and that sort of thing, and selects several tools for you and says, okay, so this, I think, is everything you would need as far as tools go.
Great. Do you know who I would bring it to? We rescued someone last night or yesterday who could do the work, and I said that I would buy the stuff and they would do the work. Do you happen to know who that was, or where they went, or who I could bring this to, or can you do this?
You I suppose you could go ask. I saw this morning I know the refugees had taken them in. I saw actually a whole group of refugees on their way into the tavern earlier today. If you went to the tavern, you might be able to ask around there. I'm sure that they took in one of the people you saved.
Okay. I need to go get breakfast anyway. Okay, how much for all this?
This is 1 gold piece.
Oh, cool. And she'll hand over a gold piece and bundle everything up. And as she's leaving, she'll be like, are we going to see you around, or are you heading also to Fort Kickass?
She says, I am heading to Fort Kickass.
Oh no, I was just asking because a lot of people I've been offering people place in Fort Kickass. It's my new home, and anybody who wants to, if you want to go there, you're more than welcome. Or if you want to,
I'm sorry. No, I couldn't leave Tomar's Crossing. We have the store here, and my husband is here, so we'll probably stay here.
Oh, well, your husband is more than happy to come too. I mean, at the store, or if he just wants to go.
Oh, if only you could get him to go with you.
Rock would love to insight that.
Sure. It is definitely delivered as a joke, as a marriage joke.
Yeah. She's just been, looking for something. So
yeah, I mean, Rock, you don't really need to insight it to know that it is also true.
Well, yeah, and that's why she's inciting to see, all right, how is there bitterness hiding behind what she saw last night?
94% true.
Yeah. I rolled a 17.
So yeah, there is some, not only is it true what she's saying, there seems to be some animosity there. Oh. And the other thing, make an investigation check, Rock.
I had no idea our gossip girl powers would make us so good at Dungeons and Dragons.
This is literally what Rock is made for. She is an inquisitor.
I love it.
Investigation?
Mm-hmm.
That's a dirty 20.
Oh, dang. Okay. So the other thing, Rock, with sales being the way it is and with the supply, there's no way this shop should still be open.
Oh.
They got to have some other source of income to keep this shop open.
Okay. Yeah, so Rock would look around and say, well, if you're having problems and you want him to be gone for a little while, he can go and open second store in Fort Kickass. We're going to need people, and maybe you can diversify your product.
Oh, it was just a joke, Rock. It's not serious, but that's actually not a bad idea and sounds like it would be good for business. So I'll bring that up to Malete later. He's off getting a few more supplies.
Oh, really? From where?
Oh, supplies for his belly in the tavern.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to head to tavern now. I'll tell him that you said that might be a good idea. Thank you. Bye. And
yes, thank you. And she waves.
Yeah. And I will head off to the tavern.
Okay.
Both for fun and for profit.
So we'll get to the tavern in just a second, where Torsten also is. Let's go back to Rain for a moment. Rain.
Yes.
Kadra says, I have no idea where she is at the moment, but I think we could probably ask around. Do you need to meet with your friends? It's fine with me if you want to tell your friends. They seem trustworthy.
Well, what about what I said to her about what I rolled a persuasion check?
Oh, right. She says, if this turns out to be Mara, then I will give you what you need, and I will endorse Torsten and speak out even against Bachalin. If we're able to find her and stop her, he won't have anything on me.
Will you reveal that he was blackmailing you?
I will.
Good. Okay. Then we can work together.
But only if.
Yeah, of course. All right. We'll see what happens. We'll talk more. I'm mad. This is lame. She can't be in a position of power, and she should resign her seat then. Whatever.
She would, except that's also part of the blackmail deal.
Oh, that she just has to stay in. Okay.
Yeah. he wants people in power. He has stuff on. So
All right. I said, all right. Well, what do you need to hide? I guess or something. Can you face her? How strong is she? What? How do you beat a sorcerer?
Well, we are a tough lot there, Rain. It's hard to beat us, as you know.
Okay. All right.
And she says, I don't know. I think if it is her, you're going to need help. But you have powerful friends. You defeated a dragon.
Yes. Well, I did that alone. But
well, then you should be fine to take her on.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
It was just a wormling dragon, but still.
All right, so she'll just like try and magic us, right? She's not gonna have any secret special tricks or anything. She won't turn into a dragon, will she? I mean, that's an issue, but
don't know. Okay. But last I checked, she didn't have that ability.
And she'll come out swinging, right? She's not gonna be we can't talk her down or anything like that. We have to expect a fight, probably.
I would say so. She has gone quite mad.
Okay. She's crazy. Okay. I'll go beat her up.
She says, well, make sure, I would question her first. Make sure that...
No. I mean, once I've confirmed... I'm not just beating up a 16-year-old girl. No. Yeah. Once I've confirmed that it's her. And will she... So she can change forms, or she's not... She turned into a 16-year-old girl, right? That's not her regular form.
Yes, I don't know how, but there's, magic can let you do many things.
Right. Can you change your appearance? Because you should probably do that.
I don't necessarily have that spell. I did change my appearance a bit already, but
yeah, eye color really. That's a good one.
I cut my hair and I dyed it as well.
Okay. All right, just height here. The owner of the Punchin' Kickatorium, Thor. He's a pretty tough guy, so he can look after you. I'll let him know that. Watch out for 16-year-old girls. 16-year-old girls.
I forgot that your karate JoJo is called.
It's martial arts, not just karate.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot your CrossFit gym was called.
It's boxer size, not Crocs. Okay, so
this is why he's totally okay with sports kick-ass.
It's all around.
Yeah, all the names work out together. It's synergies.
Forgot your hot yoga gym was called that.
It's called Bikram yoga.
It's more like Taibo, guys. It's more like...
Oh, yeah, it is.
Jazzercise, his spin class.
Rain has the best names for stuff.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I had to revel in how funny that was again. I love it.
So you tell Thor, and Thor's like, all right, bro, got it. Be on the lookout for 16-year-old girls with...
Hold on.
A bad attitude.
Just make sure no one... all right. I don't need your I don't need your sass, Thor, okay? I'm the best teacher you got.
Cool. I got you.
All right, thanks, buddy.
It's all good. It's all good. Just keep it kicking punchatorium. You know what I mean?
I do, and I flying kick a heavy bag on the way out.
Oh, nice. It looks real cool, like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat called him Rain Fonda.
I know.
The Foley sounds like two slabs of half-frozen meat just slapping together. It's amazing.
So, Rain, where are you headed?
I'll go to Torsten first. He's a magic user, so it makes sense that if there's a magic person out there,
sure,
he would be the one to talk to.
So Torsten, you are finishing up your conversation with Katika and Huberg and the rest of the leaders of the refugees. Mm-hmm. And it's, they're trying to get you to promise stuff, and you're being reluctant to promise anything that you can actually promise.
Yeah, definitely.
And at that moment, Rock comes in. And there are a few other people sitting around eating breakfast. You did notice Melete is in the corner drinking a beer mosa and having a plate of eggs.
Beer mosa.
Mm-hmm. And Rock enters at that moment. And then shortly, like maybe 10 seconds behind Rock, is when Rain comes in.
Okay. I will use that as an excuse to stand up and excuse myself from the table, and I'll just say, Katika, Nib, and Jespa, it was nice to meet you all. Huberg, as always, I'll definitely see what I can do. Talk to the current council members and see what we can make happen, and then I'll take my leave and go see Rock and Rain.
And Rock would have entered, seen you, waved, and then beeline for Malete. Been like, hi, and then like kept going. So if you want to join her,
I'll just let her go.
Okay. Because she'll be headed. She'll be like, oh, that's the guy. That's the husband guy. So she'll head in that direction.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, you see Malete is there and eating and drinking and having a grand old breakfast.
Great. Plunk down next to him and be like, do we know each other? Do I know Malete as much as I know?
Yeah, I would say about the same. You probably know him.
Okay. Hi, I was just buying things in your store, and your wife said you were here and suggested that I come over and offer you, if you wanted to come to Fort Kickass and get away from here and set up a job in Fort Kickass, because we're going to need people to do store stuff. Are you interested?
Hi, this is my wife's day to run the store. It's my day off. You're coming here and bothering me with business. What is Fort Kickass?
It's the fort that we've liberated from all the bad guys, and I own it now. It's mine, but I want people to come and live there because it's like a safe place.
But right now, no one lives there.
No, there's going to be some refugees going there and like setting up, and we're going to need store stuff.
Let me ask you a question, Rock.
In
these troubled times where everyone is in need of a home, who is watching your house?
Well, I've got about 2-3 dozen people living in my tent right now.
In your tent?
Mm-hmm.
But what about your fort?
Well, they'll find out when they get there.
I see. So they're headed there. But at the moment, no one is occupying your fort, is what you're telling me.
Probably not.
Well, I bet someone has moved in there.
Okay, well, they're welcome to stay if they want to help out, and if not, then they'll just have to go away again.
I see. How about we do this? You let me know when things are operational, and then we'll see about opening a Faradus Traders 2 in your fort.
Oh, good. Electric Boogaloo. I like the sequels. That will be good. All right. I'll let you know. I just figured
you said my wife brought that to you.
Yeah, because I suggested it to her, and then she said that might be something you were interested in.
Oh, she did she?
Uh-huh. That's why I knew you were here. She said you were here.
This is my favorite soap.
Yes,
intentionally oblivious Aarakocra.
I'm ready.
Yes. I see. Well, thank you, Rock. Thank you very much for the idea. I really, 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 really appreciate it.
So it's obvious he's being sarcastic, but I would love to insight it to know, like, have I just caused family drama?
Oh, man, I hope so. Oh, man.
Can I?
I'm so ready.
Go ahead, make an insight check.
I didn't know that, like, all of my fantasies from high school could be fulfilled through Dungeons and Dragons, like, in an even better way. Like, please.
Yep. All right, so that'd be a 19.
Yeah, yes. You definitely have caused some drama.
Yeah. and so he's gonna, is he like now getting ready to leave, or is he still like in the middle of
he goes back to his meal.
Okay. Rock is going to intentionally continue to sit there and prattle on about what she wants to do with Fort Kickass.
Oh boy. You see.
And like, I'll RP that for you, but it's basically she's going to intentionally sit there and try to encourage him to leave as quick, like be the person he doesn't want to be around.
I would say you get about 3 sentences in and he looks at Torsten and puts too much money for the meal on the table and says thank you and walks out without even acknowledging Rock.
This is win-win.
Yeah. And she'll just let him go and wave. And then I think when she turns and he's leaving, she'll catch Rain's eye and like nod at him and grin. And then she'll get up and join him.
Okay. Rain, while Rock is talking to Milete, is there anything you wanted to do?
Did Torsten excuse himself from all of the other representatives?
Yeah, Torsten was able to
then
separate.
Yeah, I want to go over and talk to him and explain that Bajalion has been blackmailing Kadra and that there's some evil sorceress that kills people and drinks their blood, possibly in town, disguised as a 16-year-old girl. And
tale as old as time, you know?
It would probably be bad for the campaign if he got caught blasting a 16-year-old girl with magic missile. So, while I would like his help, I think maybe we should try not to be too disruptive if we have to stop her.
Sure. So you basically spill the story of Kadra?
Yeah,
all right.
All of it.
Gives you the whole lowdown. And as you're finishing up that is when Milete storms out. And Rock, you catch the eye not just of Rain, but also of Torsten when you look up.
Yeah.
Goes there together.
I'll walk on over and be like, "Ooh, it's been a fun morning."
And so you all are conversing, and then we find Isabel on the way to see her son. So she is going to see Beritus and Klaga. And so you knock on the door, and that is when a young half-orc woman answers the door. She is also surprisingly short, similar in stature to Isabel, although not as probably strong as we know.
No one's as strong as me.
Yeah.
Strongest.
Although, you know, she's a half-orc still, so she's definitely stronger than the average human. So she opens the door. She is wearing a dress that is stained with, child vomit on it, just like spit up normal stuff. And she sees you and she says, "Oh, hi, Isabel.
Klaga.
I didn't know you were coming today." And she like turns and looks at Beritus, who is eating a bowl of oatmeal at a table, and bouncing his, child on his knee, and looks over at you and like gets wide-eyed, and he says, "Oh, that's because I didn't know. It's a surprise visit from Mom.
Surprise!
Come on in."
Yay! And as she like goes inside, she doesn't say anything about like the stains on the dress because not even Isabel is that cruel, but she will like straighten things as she's like like pick up like a piece of laundry and set it, like fold it and like set it on top of things and upright something, and then she'll pick up her grandson and shove like too much candy in his mouth. And, I'm just so happy to see all of you. I'm back from my dangerous trip that for some reason nobody thought I'd come home from, but I'm glad you believed in me, Klaga.
And she says, "Yes, well, I think it's great that you are able to get out there and do your own thing, and you should feel free to adventure as much as you like, Isabel."
Oh, I certainly will, and I'll always be back to come and see my little grandson. Isn't that right? And she's like dancing him on the table.
And she's like, "Oh, after the candy, just be careful with the..." Oh.
And as he's like drooling like brightly colored candy stuff, she just like wipes his mouth and like wipes it on her son's shoulder. And
and Beritus says, "Mom, is there any particular reason you dropped by, or was it just to spend some time?"
Oh, I love spending time with you, but I actually had some questions. It's election day coming up pretty soon, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Mom. Yeah.
So exciting.
It is. It is. Yeah, it's looks like we've got some new faces. I don't know. I was thinking about maybe even voting for Summith. I don't know. What did you think about that, Mom?
Oh, I would love it if you voted for Summith. He's such a good man. And she'll like look at Claudia. She's like, don't you think he's just the best man?
And she says he's pretty great, actually. He should be on his way over here soon. He was fixing up our cart.
Oh my goodness, Summith is coming over. Well, do me a favor and don't ask him about last night. He's probably pretty tired.
Mom!
And she'll just like, what? We're all adults.
Yeah, and Claga says, actually, Isabel, I think it's great that you are an independent woman who can do whatever she wants, and I think it's great that you're no longer doing it in this house.
Of course you do, sweetie. And basically she's honestly there to pick up gossip and to get an idea of what they think of the other candidates. But she will take a moment and say, what do you think of that? Oh goodness, what's his name? Oh, it starts with a B. Oh, geez, I can't. Oh, he's sour face.
The village master, Mom? Is that who you're talking about?
Oh my goodness, humans have such strange names, don't they? Yeah, sure.
Everybody has a good laugh about that.
Yeah,
good cultural laugh.
Yeah, good hearty half-elf laugh. I imagine the tenants next door like bang on the walls.
That's right. They're like, hey!
Stop being racist. Hey!
All that ethnic laughing. Sorry, I got a little. It's election day, and I got a little sassy. Yeah. So she's basically there. She's like trying to get an idea of what they think, especially with Clauga as a business owner, like what she thinks of Bjalen. Like, you've lived here a lot longer than me. Tell me more about this Bjalen man.
And Clauga says, well, he's got a very sour disposition, but people seem to like the way he runs things in town. He gets a lot done. He always has the side of the village council. They always seem to vote with him no matter what, even though his votes count for more. He is extremely unapproachable, though. No one really knows much about him. In fact, it's said that he has no interest in anything other than politics, really, it seems. There are rumors that he used to have a network of spies all throughout the settlements in the Luna Valley, and that he would use that information to get dirt on the travelers who would come through Tomar's Crossing, and that he would use that information then to blackmail them and that sort of thing. He's certainly seen his fair share of visitors in and out of his hut who come from other places, but I think it's just because he's the leader of the town, honestly. All of that rumor and such. He's been the leader for so long, and he's such an asshole that it's kind of only natural for these rumors to come up.
And what about the others? What about with the vines? What about her, the druidy one?
Oh, Palmine. She's very odd, but she did have a love for making things grow, and that's really what helped get her elected. Was she was able to, even on the glacier, provide a small amount of food for the community. Unfortunately, she's having more trouble since the comet struck. But
well, you must work really closely with her with your alchemy, huh?
Yes, I've certainly know her better than I know Bjalen. She's an odd woman. She is interested in oddities. Anything weird or magical or that sort of thing she's interested in, especially if it has to do with nature magic, but really just any magic in general. She's like racking her brain, and then she says, there was... I did have one weird interaction with her, though, and this was just a few weeks ago. I was over there, and I entered without knocking because we had a meeting, and I just wasn't thinking. You know how it is after you have a child. Your brain is scattered, especially when your husband doesn't help as much as he should.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Well, I never had that problem, but then I wasn't married to Baratus, so that makes sense. He's always been a little lazy.
Yes,
And she'll
yes.
just she'll pat his cheek like a little too hard while he's got like a mouthful of oatmeal.
Yeah, you weren't married to Baratus, you just raised him. But,
Isabel will remember that. It's like a little Telltale Games. She's like Claga definitely hears Isabel like sucking a little air through her teeth. And then she takes the baby and she starts like tossing him a little bit. Just like, whoopsies. Here we go. And a little bit higher each time. And then she like holds him and like looks at him and she's like, I think you're ready. And she hands him over to Claga, and just as like he starts to get that ripe smell.
Oh man. And Baratus stands up and says, I'll take care of that. And he takes the child away and goes to change them. And
Good job, sweetie.
Claga says, well, after I entered the door, I saw Palmine. She was looking at some kind of locket. It was just, a simple gold locket. But she freaked out. You would have thought I walked in on her changing. She was so upset, and she yelled at me for not knocking. I apologized, and she seemed to get over it fairly quickly, and we moved on. But that was very strange.
That does sound very strange. Oh my goodness. And I would like an opportunity to like try and figure out what Claga might have thought was strange about it. Like, was she disturbed by it, or did she just think it was weird?
She was disturbed by it because it was so out of. Palmine is generally pretty even keeled, so it seemed a little out of character for Palmine.
Oh, okay. So like she was just like, instead of this very stoic Placid Waters type, it was just very like vehement or something. Okay.
Exactly. And also that it was, in Claga's mind, not only was it an overreaction for Palmine, it was an overreaction to the situation in general.
Right.
She freaked out, and she never freaks out, and she freaked out about something no one would normally freak out about. So
okay, and then Isabel will like lean in close to Claga, and she'll say, I used to play this game with my friends when I was much younger, around your age. You tell me a secret, and then I'll tell you one. Tell me a secret about these council members. I'm sure you know something.
She looks around and she says, well, oh no, I can't.
You can. Baratus isn't here. It's just us girls.
Make a persuasion check.
You better fucking believe I will. Oh, can I cuss? Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you're good.
Like, I would love to do the thing that I'm proficient in. Oh, good thing too, because that was not a great roll. Persuasion +4. 17.
Okay. 17. She says, well, Kalinis Birthwitch, who is the council member that you have yet to interact with at all, has not been hunting for months. And that's how he used to make his livelihood. This is way before the comet came. He was has been a recluse. He's shut up and inside his house and it never seems to come out. Even after the people have begged for the help of the council, he's just in there all the time. Now, he's generally kept to himself, so it's not something many people know, but you know Mitty, my best friend. And yes, that a halfling named Mitty is Klaga's best friend.
Mhm.
Well, she lives next door
Mhm.
to Colonus, and he doesn't even leave the house to take his dog out. Just opens the door, lets the dog run around, and then lets the
Mastiff?
dog come back.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, the Mastiff.
Mastiff.
Now you tell me a secret.
And Isabel will like start fastening her cloak back up, and she'll, oh, Baratus really doesn't like your spinach puff, sweetie. It's too much garlic.
Wow. And at that moment, Baratus comes back in with the child, and he's like, okay, we're all clean. Oh, no. And Claga has is staring daggers at him. Back at the tavern, you have all had a chance to exchange all your information. If there is anything anybody wants to keep secret, let me know right now.
No.
But if not, we can assume that everyone knows what everyone else knows.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Brock would spill everything.
Yeah. And the place is cleared out a little bit. The leaders from the refugees have eaten and left, and there's just a few people, sort of regular faces there, sitting and eating, those who can still afford a meal at a tavern. And the door swings open, and in walks this waifish 16-year-old girl. And she says to the sort of the closest patron, excuse me, I'm looking for Torsten Alehand. And the patron points to you, Torsten, and she comes over.
All
and
right.
she says, Mr. Alehand?
Yeah, that's me.
Hi, my name is Ellie Mirkar. I am looking for one of your friends. I was hoping you could tell me where Mr. Rain Bowie lives.
Does this girl match the description that we have?
Well, we knew
of
her
that
name,
area?
so
Yeah, and it matches the name.
Oh,
too.
I thought it was a different name. Okay,
Yeah.
same name.
Mhm.
So I say.
So the Mara is like the real name, but
Yeah.
she this
is Ellie. Who was Mariath? Oh, that was Kadra's name.
yeah, it's
Kadra's
Kadra's
name.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's where I was confused. All right, so I just try my best not to look at Rain, and say what interest do you have with Rain?
Oh, well, it's such a game of tag I'm playing here. Rain is actually friends with one of my friends who I'm trying to find. Maybe you could actually just help me find her. Her name is Kadra Tourmaline.
Considering the conversation that we just, like the information that we were just given, Rock is looking at this girl really intently, and I'd like to insight her and find out, like, not just is she lying, but is she like basically using truths to cover up what she really wants.
Mm-hmm. Sure, go ahead.
And I will say, while she's doing that, I'll just say, how do you know Kadra?
Yeah, inset that friends.
Yeah, that's a 21.
So yeah, she is using truth to cover up what she really wants. Definitely.
Okay.
She says, "Oh, I met Kadra. I'm a refugee from Safe Harbor. I met Kadra coming here when she was handing out food to new refugees, and I just thought she was so inspiring, and I wanted to see if I could help her in any way. It's so boring in those camps. I'm just looking for friends."
Is all that true, or is any of that a lie?
I thought she was already a friend. Oh, I'm not there. I'll just mute myself.
Detect magic is a ritual or a spell?
Both.
It
Both.
could be both. Okay.
Yeah, if you cast it as a ritual, it takes 11 minutes. If you cast it as
Yeah.
a spell, I think it's just an action. But no,
Yeah.
Rock is like just impassively staring at this kid. Was any of that a lie, or once again like stretching truth?
It seems like she's using the truth, but she knows Kadra better than she is letting on.
Okay.
And
Rock will interrupt at that point and be like, "Oh, if you're looking for a friend, I can be your friend. We've got a lot of refugees over by where my tent is set up, and a bunch of them are going to my fort. They're going to Fort Kickass. Were you interested in going there? And I could help you out with that."
Thank you, but I'm interested in Kadra as my friend, not you.
Well, why wouldn't you want me as a friend? If you want friends.
Rock, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead now.
Do you have any intent here with what you are doing?
So Rock hears all the story of, what they're afraid this kid is. And now she's just probing and she's looking, it's once again, Rock doesn't understand why people lie because she can pick it out. And she's starting to learn that sometimes just being like, no, that's not true, doesn't actually help. So she's putting on the veneer of the outsider, and she's learning that seems to make her seem less threatening. And so she's just asking questions, waiting for this person to say what they really mean. So that's basically it. She's not sure whether this is really like an evil person or, if this is a misunderstanding, but she definitely knows something's up and she's just going to keep pestering.
Go ahead and make a deception check for me.
Okay. I would say she's not like nothing Rock has said is a lie. She has offered like.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about.
And I only
people.
Yeah.
and how that would work. So
may I ask, can I make a persuasion check either? Because she's not doing it with ill intent.
Sure.
She's doing it to like, hey, just tell me what you really want.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying to lead her.
Yeah, it's a philosophical difference. Like Rock doesn't lie.
Chip away at her patience.
Yeah, just like you'll eventually tell me what you really want. I just need to keep asking. Persuasion. Well, I rolled a 15. It's a -2, so it would be a 13.
Okay. So
she's not good at it.
She like draws a long breath, and you can all see, you don't need to make any sort of insight check or anything to know she is visibly annoyed and needed to just gather herself here while under Rock's barrage of questioning. And then she looks at Torsten again and says, if you know where Kadra or Rain are, please tell me. If you don't, please tell me, and then I can move on.
All right. I say, I'm right here, and I knock over a chair. Mara
jumps back, and you see like all of the patrons now in the tavern, their eyes turn to you. Torsten, your mother comes out of the kitchen and is like, Torsten, what is happening?
How does she respond when he calls her Mara?
She steps back and says, I don't know what you mean.
Why don't you take a seat? We have some questions for you.
Make an intimidation check.
Oh, okay. 16.
She looks at you when you say that with like hatred and power in her eyes and says, fine, I will. And she then draws a seat over to her, like with magic.
Oh.
And sits down.
Oh, we don't need to use detect magic anymore. Maybe everyone should leave, actually. Also.
Why do you really want to see Kadra, Mara?
I need to see her. And either you will help me or you will not.
Well, she's a friend of ours, and she's concerned about your appearance here.
Kadra, or not Kadra, Ellie reaches into her dress pocket and closes her eyes and starts mumbling to herself and starts waggling her fingers around Anyone who is trained in Arcana can make an Arcana check.
I will do so. I roll an 18, so 25.
Okay, so she is casting a spell. You can tell, and with a 25, you know the spell she is casting is Detect Thoughts. That she's probably got a piece of copper in her pocket, which is the material component for Detect Thoughts. Because a penny for your thoughts. So yes, so you know that she is spellcasting right now.
All right.
And you can also see people in the tavern, like a few people are starting to sort of get up and creep towards the door.
All right. I say casting coercion magic is frowned upon around here. Reading other people's minds and such.
And she says, I need to know where Kadra is.
Vi. Tell us Vi.
And
What's the
she
purpose of
looks
this?
at you, Rain, and she says, got it. And then
Oh.
she stands up and starts to walk out.
Okay, I follow. I'm waiting till she's outside before punching her because I don't want to start a fight in the Elhan bar. That
Oh,
Okay.
Rock isn't. Rock
Oh.
will quickly move in front of her. If she has to dash, disengage, whatever she's got to do, she's going to stand at the door, lock it, and be like, bye.
Point, there are only...
Can I not resist Detect Thoughts?
So you can't resist Detect Thoughts if they... Essentially, Detect Thoughts can learn the surface thoughts of someone.
It was about punching her. Those were my thoughts. Like an image, just pictures of me, like a little stick figure pictures of me punching her.
If
Well,
they
you
want
thought
to,
of
like-
punching it, went to punch kickatorium.
If they want to dig through your mind, they
Okay.
can find stuff. But I assume since the talk was about where
yeah,
Kadra
yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
All right, well,
but at this point, there's only 2 patrons left in here, plus Torsten's family, because a lot of people have managed to leave.
That
Isabel,
moment in like an old Western saloon and where the music stops and everyone's just like, oh, we're gone. Exactly.
so as that's happening, Isabel,
Yes.
you are leaving your
Yes,
son's house.
I've escaped my son's house.
So as you are leaving, you see coming up the road, drawing a cart sort of by himself, like almost like it's a rickshaw, carrying it or dragging it behind him, is Summa Skullcleaver walking up the path towards the home. You seem to have noticed him before he noticed you.
She's going to what she's going to do is she's going to write a little note and pin it to the door, and it's just going to basically be "Missed you, sweetie," and then with an E at the bottom, and then she's going to leave without saying anything or drawing attention to herself from him.
Okay, excellent. So you are able to slip away. You take this diverted path, and the diverted path actually leads you in front of the tavern, and you can see people are leaving the tavern and they're passing by you and they're like, what a strange girl who knew magic. That is so odd.
That's weird.
And then somebody else says, do you think Rain was going to punch her? And
The answer is always yes. We do.
no, I don't think Rain would punch out a small waif of a girl. That seems very, very strange for one of the heroes of Fort Frostville.
Oh no.
You
My
hear this
carefully
conversation.
constructed campaign.
Yeah.
No, can't go around punching children.
Yeah, and then you hear someone say, "Well, I don't. If he's friends with Torsten, I will not be voting for Torsten in this election. He punches that girl."
No, she won't say anything or acknowledge it, but she will double time. She'll just pick up a little bit of speed.
Okay, are you headed towards the tavern?
Yay.
Okay, you are able to get there fairly quickly, and you open the door at the moment Rock is stepping in front of it.
Oh, okay. Does the
You
door
get a
open
face full
in
of
or
feathers.
out?
The door opens out, so you're not like barging in.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, she'll open the door. She'll see Rock, and Rock, I've already the doors. You have to move away from them once you go in. Rock. And she's like very small, like she's 5'2", so she can't see around Rock. She's just
Yeah.
and she'll like kind of like lever herself between the door and Rock, who I assume is not moving. And she'll just poke her head in and see what's going on.
So you see Rock is standing guarding this door, and at the other end, Torsten, and then before Torsten is Rain. Rain, did you take your shirt off yet, or is that
No,
still?
not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I think around 16-year-old girls, the
Yeah,
shit will stay on regardless of whether or not I'm fighting
you already
them.
have to punch her, so
Right.
And I want to like kind of put my hand on Rain's shoulder and just be like, "Hold on now, this looks really bad."
And the patrons, there are a few patrons there in the bar, in the area as well, a couple of them. And Torsten, your mother is still behind the bar, like, what is going on, Torsten?
I say, not everything looks as it is at the moment, Mother. This is not some 16-year-old girl.
yeah, I definitely walked in on like Rain squaring off up against the 16-year-old.
Yeah.
She's kind of like,
Rock still has her eyes on the girl and keeps asking, why do you want to see her? Why?
what's happening?
And at that moment, the girl takes off her wig. And the wig transforms into like an old dusty top hat. And at the same time, the 16-year-old girl turns into a massive silver dragonborn. And she says, so that's the way it's going to be then.
Okay,
I'll ask you
now I
again.
take my shirt off.
I'm going to ask you again to move.
You answer my question first.
And she says, I need to kill Kadra Tourmaline. She is not who you think she is. Just like I was in disguise, she is in disguise. Her name is Mariath, and she is a sorceress of considerable power. And she has compromised this village's political process. She has been blackmailed and needs to answer for her crimes.
Well, then these are things that you should tell the people and not go off and lie to us and say that you're going to just kill her.
Oh, there's something that I need from her.
And what's that?
Her blood, because you wish to drink it, because you're insane.
This is all news to Isabel.
Yeah, Isabel, this is all shocking news.
She's like, wow. Wow.
How does she react to him when he says that? I want to get an insight check on her.
She turns and nods and says, yes. But what do you care for the blood of a liar, a deceiver, one who is under the thumb of another in this town?
I don't
Look,
think
this
lying
feels
means
kinda
you should
judgy.
be... Yeah, lying is not a death sentence, last time I checked.
Look, define lie. Like,
You should hold your
Sure.
politicians to a higher standard than you hold the average person.
Dragonborn Unabomber? Like, what is...
I don't disagree, but also killing and drinking blood is not a just punishment for minor corruption.
Or major corruption.
She was under pressure if she was being blackmailed.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be drinking people's blood anytime.
Agreed. I can get behind that position.
Look, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do in your own house.
True libertarian.
Somebody wants that
Isabel-
blood drinking. Who were you to say no?
Isabel is like stepping out of this conversation. Is there a crowd forming around the tavern of people who are afraid of Rainbowy punching a 16-year-old?
Yeah, definitely. Like the word has spread, and
She
now
will
there are
immediately. An assassin! An assassin has come to kill one of the members of the council. We have to deal with this.
people. Go ahead and make a deception check.
I would love to.
Not really a deception, is it?
Well,
It's your point of view.
yeah, my I don't have altruistic motives, that's for sure. Let's take a look. So I got that. Yeah.
I will also mention the Dragonborn is 100% not 16 years old either.
Yeah.
They look much older.
Which is fine. I'm just getting the people back on our side. 13.
Just trying to get it there before it turned into punching a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
which I
I
don't think
got-
anybody wanted.
Because like what if they just hear fighting and then like a dragonborn dies and then they wonder where the 16-year-old is? So we'll just say, hey, we're fighting an assassin. I got a 13 though, so I don't know how good that's gonna
Okay, you see the people. Some of them like they're keeping their distance, but they haven't scattered at all.
Yeah.
They're looking confused at each other, and they're like, "So the girl is an assassin? Is that
Oh.
what you're saying?"
I don't see a girl in there. There's only a dragonborn. And she's like already like pulling her sword. Like she's like, there's a dragonborn in there. Wants to kill Kadra.
There wasn't a. Did you see I didn't see a dragonborn in there.
Stay back.
Okay. Let's see. So is this
We're not gonna let you do anything to
Yeah.
Kadra. You're gonna have to go through us.
Or you can just tell people what you know, and we can do this like normal people, not like drinking blood people.
I need Kadra's blood. I need it to become what I am meant to be.
And what does that have to do with telling the town about the stuff that she is doing?
I wasn't going to tell them at all. I was just going to carry out your justice on my own, but I will be honest with you.
You
Even if
haven't been
Kadra-
yet.
Even if Kadra was as good as everyone in this town expects her to be, I would still kill her, and I would still feast upon her bones
Wow,
and
this
her
is
marrow.
Like a-
Y'all are
Everyone
all
hears
like,
this,
"Yeah."
right? All the people hear this happening,
there's-
right?
Yeah,
There's
at this
still
point,
a couple people
you
in the
see your
town.
mother has like edged all the way back into the kitchen, and she says, "Have at it then."
All right, I punch her in the neck.
Specifically the neck.
Yeah, well, she's facing you then.
Yeah,
Punch.
we're staring.
I love it. Isabel's just like arms out in front of the people in the crowd, like she's trying to bring the peace, but she's also like not trying super hard for them to not watch. So she looks a little bit more like a ringmaster than she does
Well, and when this dragonborn, when she transformed into this dragonborn, did she grow in height at all, or is she still like wayfish human size?
Yes, she grew in height. She's
Okay.
like 7 feet tall now.
So she's a
wearing
good.
the top hat.
I do like
did
her
not
hat.
put
I
the
already
top hat
have.
back on.
I already have a great
Actually-
hat, but if
Yeah.
I could use a backup hat.
She
So at that-
collapsed it down. It's like one of those like poof, showtime.
Yeah.
Got the rabbit in her
I
hat.
want
She
that hat.
collapsed it down and put it on her belt.
So at that point, when she does that, like Rock is only about 5 feet. So anyone who was behind her could easily see Dragonborn body now standing there, even though Rock is still in the doorway.
So it is. What did we roll for initiative here?
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh
Go ahead,
no.
Rain.
we have to do that, don't we?
I have to do something +5 because I'm fancy now.
I got a 19.
It's garbage.
Okay.
Person got a 5.
Torsten got a 5. Okay. How about Esbel?
16.
16.
Yes.
And what did Rock get?
13. Did
Okay.
not
So
roll.
Rain, you are indeed going first.
All right. Kapow. Back in the neck. Punched.
Go for it. Boom.
Boom. 11.
Okay. 11 will miss.
Yeah. I'm going to use Flurry of Blows and attack 2 more times. I don't have to hit to do that. Nope,
No, you
I
don't.
just need to make the attack action. Okay.
Just attack.
20, dirty, 22.
Yes, 22 will hit.
In 20 hits as well?
Yep.
Okay, for... Ooh, I rolled 16 total damage.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so you get 2 solid punches to the neck. And when your hand connects, you feel Mariath's scales are hard. Like harder than the average dragonborn, almost like dragon scales. And it is Isabel's turn. Now, you still do damage to her, but it's like you're punching someone in armor. Isabel, it's your turn.
Isabel is outside with the crowd, and so whenever Rain starts to attack, Isabel is going to focus most of her attention on the crowd and saying like, everyone stay back. And so right now she is readying an action with her shield, that if the fight spills into the street, that she'll protect people. Like, that's her number one thing. She won't be attacking. She'll be pushing people out of the way or using her shield to block stuff and defend people.
Okay, awesome. That's great.
Thank you.
It is Rock's turn.
Rock is going to use a bonus action to disengage, and she is going to fly kind of diagonally up and away so that she's not basically like 25 feet up and away, so she can still see this dragonborn, but is kind of out of the way. And she's going to pull out her short bow and she's going to shoot this thing.
Okay, go ahead.
That would be 19.
Okay, 19 will definitely hit.
Excellent. And since this dragonborn is next to my friend, I get sneak attack. So that'd be 19 damage.
Okay.
As I think.
Wow, that's a lot of damage.
I rolled 3 5s, so that helped a lot. So yeah, she's gonna back. She's gonna shoot. And that's all she's gonna do for the moment.
Okay. So, this dragonborn looks at all of you and says, "You shouldn't have done this. This is all on you." And then
That's not how this works.
opens her hand, and a small bead of fire sits there for a moment and then explodes in a conflagration. Everyone make a dexterity saving throw.
Ah,
Dang.
I haven't learned Uncanny Dodge yet. This could be bad.
And
17.
Isabel had no idea she was a magic user either. This is awesome.
Does he
I
hit
am
Rock
gonna-
if Rock flew away?
I only flew like 20 feet.
Oh, okay.
So
But you're like outside with me now, aren't you?
Yeah.
yeah, but if she's centered, I'm assuming this is a fireball. She's centered
Yeah,
on herself. I think I would
Yeah.
still be in the radius. So I am using my inspiration though.
You said a dexterity saving throw?
A dexterity saving throw. yeah.
Okay, just checking. Oh,
13, even with my inspiration.
Yeah, I will.
I have no dexterity, so I got a 10. This is awesome. If there are people around me, they are having a bad time.
Okay. So
Oh yeah, are there any like innocent people within the
there
radius?
sure are.
Yeah, I failed to convince them to run away.
So the fireball is mostly contained to the inside of the tavern. So anyone who got less than a 15 takes 29 fire damage.
Yeah.
Time for a nap.
29, you said?
Yeah, if you got 15 or higher on your saving throw, you take 14 fire damage.
All right, and I'm going to, as a reaction, cast Absorb Elements.
Okay, nice. And when this fireball clears, you cannot see Mariath. Seems like they are nowhere. The inn is totally on fire.
Mara.
Oh, Mara. Sorry.
Mara.
Yes. You can't see the dragonborn. The inn is totally on fire. And that is where we will end.
Yeah.
Poston
It's
looks at the
okay.
charred corpses of patrons around him.
We'll
That was only
build a
two.
new. We'll build a new one. We have all this money.
So let us quickly go around and let people know where they can find you. Let's start with you, Robert Aducci. Where can people find you?
Hey, you can find me on the Facebooks. You can find me on Twitter at Radu76. I'll be at GameholeCon this weekend, running some games, being on a couple of panels. So come say hi.
Excellent, excellent. And where can people find you, TK?
It's TK. It's me. They, them. I write spooky stories. So if you like spooky stories, you can read them at tkjwrites.com, or you can follow me on Twitter. TK joins the fray. On Tuesdays, I'm here. Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm on WebDM. This upcoming, not tomorrow, but next Wednesday, I will be on. I forgot what the name of it was. Encounter Roleplay, playing Star Trek. I'm going to be
cool.
playing an agent from, I believe it's called Sector 31 or Section 31, who has been sent there to investigate a very strange corruptive anomaly. So I will be helping our heroes clear that up. And it's going to be awesome because the character I'm playing is inspired by Ripley from the second Aliens movie, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Oh, me too.
I'm really excited. Yeah, it's got everything. It's got adventure. It's got comedy. It's got murder.
Perfect.
then
And Lisa
it's got
Chen
families.
is in that game.
Yes,
DSPN
Lisa Chen,
podcaster.
Hadil Al-Masari.
Recent guest on a DSPN show.
Yeah, Blue Jay, and Kayla Klein is the DM. Yes.
It's an all-star cast.
Yeah, it is. Fridays, you can follow my articles on tabletoptest.com. This month, we are doing feasts and festivities, or feastivities, if you will.
Ooh, I will.
Yeah. So this week, we're going to concentrate on learning how to make the food that you create more fanciful. We'll talk about things like subtleties from the Middle Ages. So that'll be awesome. We'll talk about like the roasted hedgehogs and cockatrice like table pieces and things like that. It'll be great. Yeah, good times. That's all I have to say. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Lauren, where can people find you?
Oh, hi, I'm Lauren. I go by Oba Crazy Online. That's where you can find me on Twitter. She, her. I'm the community manager for D&D Beyond. Sing the theme song. It's awesome, and we love it. You can also find me as the DM for Dungeon Drunks, which is a podcast that comes out every Monday, and the DM for Clerical Error, which is a show on the D&D channel that is Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. And this week, tomorrow specifically, we have our Extra Life game. And so if you're listening to this live, you can still donate in time to get a Wild Waterdeep event. The whole episode is basically a bunch of wild magic surges and a story. And hopefully it'll be fun and we'll raise lots of money for children's hospitals. I will not be at GameholeCon this weekend because if you happen to be in the Seattle area, I'll be playing with the Heritage Symphony on Saturday. We've got 3 different piano concertos that we're playing because one piano is never enough. And that's all. Bye.
That's awesome. And Rudy, where can people find you?
Hey, I'm on Twitter at Rudy Basso. James, you and I will be at a Catacon this weekend.
That's right.
In Dayton, Ohio. It's kind of a small con. We'll be walking around. We'll be playing some games. If you see us, say hey. We'd love to have a stop and chat. Maybe play something if we've got some free time. Be sure to head to don'tsplitthepodcastnetwork.com for a lot of awesome podcasts about role-playing games and such. A lot of great interview shows, too. James, Tabletop Voices, new show. Talking to some of the designers and members of this community that sometimes don't get a lot of... what am I trying to say here?
The promotion they deserve.
The promotion they deserve. That's exactly it. Thank you, Lauren. Including TK was just on a recent episode, so that's very cool. And I think that's about it. Be sure to listen to the podcast version of this show every Wednesday. And drop a review.
Podcast version of the show. Here's a little ASMR for you.
Oh, a little bonus.
Oh, nice. Yes, here you go. I'm scratching the microphone.
Oh, please don't do that, James.
microphone very close. I'm gonna whisper and say goodbye.
And I am at James Intricasso on Twitter. I am also on Don't Split the Podcast Network. I'm also going to a Catacon with Rudy. Rudy and I will also be at PAX Unplugged as well. A little bit. We'll probably keep plugging that.
Lauren's going to be there too.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be a Blastoise. And I also, starting next week, have another actual play show that is going to be on Roll20. I made a science fantasy RPG with a bunch of people specifically for the Roll20 platform.
Nice.
It's called Burn Bright, and we will be doing an actual play through of it with Pumpkinberry, with Cat Cool, who was another one of the designers, with DJ and Alex from Roll20. I'm very, very excited about it. And I'll be running the game. So if you're interested in learning about a science fantasy world full of weirdness, come check that out. It's going to be on Mondays at noon Pacific time. So we'll see you then. But if not, we will see you here on the Demonplague, where we are having a blast. It is a great time. Oh, I didn't even mean to make that pun, but apologies. And everybody be kind to each other. And I want to thank folks Josh Long and King Butterfree for sending out donations. Looks like Rain and Rock, you both have health potions now. I have a fail that I am still holding on to.
Oh, thank you.
And other than that, hit that follow button if you like what you're seeing, and don't let the demons bite. Goodbye.
Bye.
Go vote.
Bye.